الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم صدق الله مولانا العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وأزواجه وذرياته. Once again, we gather for our weekly lesson with regards to the tafsir and the explanation of the glorious Qur'an. We are discussing the surah which is known as Surah Yasīn. And in last week's lesson we discussed that this surah has 5 names, and the benefits of these names were mentioned. And thereafter we had also discussed the virtues of this surah. Moving on, the very first verse of this surah is Yaseen. In the glorious Qur'an, there are 114 surahs, 114 chapters. And from these 114 chapters, there are 29 surahs of the glorious Qur'an which begin with these letters which are known as Uloom-ul-Qur'an. Uloom-ul-Qur'an means those letters which are recited separately. So they are not recited as an entire word. So for example, you have Alif, Lam, Mim at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah. So we don't recite it as a whole word, Alam. You read each letter separately, Alif, Lam, Mim. So these are known as Al-Huruf Al-Muqatta'at. And in the glorious Qur'an, we find 29 such surahs which begin in this manner. As far as the Huruf al-Muqatta'at are concerned, there are 5 types of Huruf al-Muqatta'at as far as their size is concerned. The first one are those Huruf al-Muqatta'at where there is only one harf, only one letter. For example, Sad wal-Qur'an al-Majid. So there's only one letter, Sad. Qaf wal-Qur'an al-Majid. So we have the letter Qaf. And Noon wal-Qalami wa ma yasturun. So we have the letter Noon. Thereafter we have those Huruf al-Muqatta'at where there are 2 letters. In this very surah, Yaseen and Taha. Then you have those huruf al-Muqatta'at in which there are 3 letters. Alif, Lam, Mim. Alif, Lam, Ra. Ta, Sin, Mim. Then you have huruf al-Muqatta'at with 4 letters. Alif, Lam, Mim, Ra. And Alif, Lam, Mim, Sad. And finally you have huruf al-Muqatta'at with 5 letters. Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad. And Ha, Mim, Ain, Sin, Qaf. Now the question which will arise in each and every person's mind is, what is the tafsir of Al-Huruf al-Muqatta'at? What do these letters mean? We read Alif, Lam, Mim, we read Yasīn. Many people will read Yasīn on a daily basis. So before we even can embark on this journey of understanding this great surah of the Qur'an, let us first understand what is the meaning of the very first verse, Yasīn. And not only Yasīn, but wherever you find these sort of letters, the huruf al-Muqatta'at at the beginning of a surah. The unanimous opinion and verdict of the ulama, right from the time of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum ajma'in. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who is the most virtuous individual after the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam. Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who Allah ta'ala had blessed with an immense amount of ilm and knowledge. They are all of the opinion that it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows what the meaning of huruf al-Muqatta'at is. Besides Allah ta'ala, nobody knows what does Alif Lam Mim mean. What does Yasīn mean? This ilm and this knowledge is exclusive for Allah ta'ala. This is why Allama Jalaluddin Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi in his tafsir, and also other commentators, when they write the tafsir of the Qur'an, then after writing the huruf al-Muqatta'at like Alif Lam Mim or Yasīn, they write Allahu a'lamu bi muradihi. Allah ta'ala knows best what is the meaning of this. There is no other explanation. And they move on to the next verse. Now when this is the verdict of all the giants, then Allama Jalaluddin Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi in his other work, Al-Itqan fi Uloom-ul-Qur'an, has mentioned a principle which each and every believer should keep in mind. Very important principle. Not only for huruf al-Muqatta'at, but also for other parts of the Qur'an where you will find these sort of verses. What is that? Allama Suyuti says, Abhimu ma abhamahu Allah ta'ala. Whatever Allah ta'ala has kept ambiguous, you also keep it ambiguous. Don't fall into this trap of trying to understand something which Allah ta'ala himself has not made clear for you. There may be a story in the Quran, but which city did this incident take place in? The city is not mentioned. Now whether it took place in this city or whether it took place in this city, what difference does it make? The whole point of the incident is the lesson that is derived from the incident. If a man is mentioned and his name is not mentioned, we do not need to go into a debate that who was this man, because it's not going to make a difference. Where it's important, Allah Ta'ala will mention the details. But this is a ploy from shaitan, that he diverts our attention from the important points. And we spend so much time in debating about those parts of the Qur'an which are not important to us, which have nothing to do with our a'mal and our actions. So Allama Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi says, Abhimu ma abhamahu Allah ta'ala. Whatever Allah ta'ala has kept hidden, leave it hidden. There is so much else to understand. Fall into that and try to understand that. So this is the real point to keep in mind with regards to Huruf al-Muqatta'at also, that it is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is aware of the meaning of the Huruf al-Muqatta'at. But we also have a second group of ulama. Again, ulama of a very high caliber. They are also of the same opinion that it is only Allah Ta'ala who is aware of the meaning of Huruf al-Muqatta'at. But in Urdu they say that batore tamthil, that for example's sake, and batore tasheel, to try and make it easy for the one trying to understand the Quran, using their mind and the ilm that Allah Ta'ala gave them, they are saying that we are not saying that this is from Allah, but this is something which we have thought that these letters could mean. And they have tried and mentioned something. So we should keep in mind the real answer is that only Allah Ta'ala knows. And this is just something which some ulama have mentioned in the books of tafsir. From amongst them, one is that the Huruf al-Muqatta'at, each letter, it denotes one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for example, alif, if you take alif, lam, ra, then alif refers to ahad, that Allah ta'ala is ahad. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Allah is one, Allah is unique, He is alone. And lam refers to latif, Allah ta'ala is latif. And ra refers to rahim, Allah ta'ala is rahim. So this is one opinion, that each letter refers to one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A second opinion is that the Huruf al-Muqatta'at, they are the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has many, many names, many, many attributes. How many attributes does Allah ta'ala have? Sometimes when we ask this question, the answer will be 99. But this answer is not correct. Now you will say that we have seen in so many places 99 names of Allah. So I have no intention of speaking on this, but now that I have mentioned it and I can see that the brothers here are interested, I will try and spend a few minutes trying to explain this in a simple manner. When I addressed the lesson in Surah Taha, I explained this in detail, approximately a 1 hour lesson. But I will try and very briefly just explain this point. That we say 99 names of Allah. What did I just say? Allah Ta'ala has many, many attributes. La tu'addu wa la tuhsa. You cannot count the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are unlimited. Why are they unlimited? I will give you an example. The sifat and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sifat and the attributes of Allah ta'ala, a person has sifat and attributes depending upon what qualities he possesses. If this brother is Hafiz, you can only call him Hafiz. If this brother is Hafiz and Alim, you can call him Hafiz also, you can call him Maulana also. If this brother is Hafiz also, he is Alim also, and he is a doctor also, you can call him Hafiz Sab also, you can call him Maulana also, you can call him Doctor Sab also. So the more attributes you have, the more titles you can be called by. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His attributes and qualities are unlimited. So when his qualities are unlimited, you will be able to call him by unlimited names. Now the question will arise that what's this 99 names of Allah then? So the reason why the 99 names of Allah have become very famous is because Imam Tirmidhi rahmatullahi alayhi has narrated a hadith. And in that hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentions that whoever memorizes these 99 names of Allah, then he will enter Jannah. So that hadith is only talking about 99 names of Allah, that if you learn these 99 names of Allah, you will enter Jannah. That doesn't mean that they are the only 99 names of Allah. There are so many other names also, but you don't need to memorize those. Do we understand now why there is 99 names of Allah, but there are more names of Allah also? So anyway, one opinion is that Huruf-e-Muqatta'at are also the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik, these are the names of Allah. Huruf-e-Muqatta'at are also the names of Allah. Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi was a great Imam, Imam Dar al-Hijrah. He was the Imam of Madinatul Munawwara during his time. And during his time, if you went to an alim and you said to an alim that I want to ask you a question regarding deen, a fatwa, then they would say, Ayufta wa Malik fil Madina? You have come to ask me when Imam Malik is present in Medina? Go and ask him. It doesn't befit me to answer when such a great alim is present amongst our midst. This was the respect that the ulama had for one another in that time. Great respect. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma would say that when I would see my ustad, Hazrat Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that he is about to mount onto his means of conveyance, his camel or his horse, then I would go running and I would hold the saddle so that my ustad, Hazrat Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu, can easily mount upon his animal. In our day and age, if we see our ustad, how many of us would quickly go to the car and open the door for him? But it's this adab and this respect through which you gain their du'as. And when you gain their du'as, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes everything for you. We need to try and gain these du'as. And these du'as are gained through number one, khidmah, and number through adab. This is why Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma became the leading commentator of the glorious Qur'an. Through khidmah and adab. Khidmah. That once when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to relieve himself, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma went and put some water there. So when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam finished and turned round and saw the water, he asked that who put this water here? Sahaba said it was Abdullah. So straight away Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made this dua that Allahumma allimhu al-kitab. Oh Allah, grant him the knowledge of the Qur'an. Wa allimhu al-hikmah. Oh Allah, grant him the ability to do the tafsir of the Qur'an. Ibn Abbas is the father of tafsir. He is the leading mufassir of the Qur'an. Khidmah. And adab. What was the adab? That once he was at his auntie's house. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam spent the night there and performed tahajjud. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma also joined Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in tahajjud salah. So during the tahajjud salah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam pulled Ibn Abbas forward so they are standing together. But after a few seconds, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma took a few steps back. So after namaz, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Oh Ibn Abbas, I pulled you forward and you went back again. Why did you go back? So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma replied, It does not befit a small person like me to stand in line with you. You are Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This adab as well, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam loved it so much that the dua came out from the heart. Allahumma allimhu al-kitab wa allimhu al-hikmah wa faqihhu fi ad-din. So this knowledge which Ibn Abbas gained, he gained this knowledge through khidmah and through adab of his ustad. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, when he would see his ustad Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu, he would quickly go to the animal and he would help his ustad get onto the animal. So Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu would say, that, "Oh Ibn Abbas, what are you doing? You are from the family of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I feel ashamed to take khidmah from you. Don't do this, please." So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma would reply, "Hakaza umirna an naf'ala bi ulama'ina." That this is how we have been commanded to respect our ulama. So upon this, Zayd ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu would descend from his animal. And he would kiss Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma on his forehead. And he would say, "Hakada umirna an naf'ala bi ahli Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam." That this is how we have been commanded to respect and honor the family of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When we listen to these incidents, how much enjoyment do we feel? And imagine the enjoyment they must have felt in living these lives. This is the enjoyment a person will gain when he will study the Qur'an and practice upon the Qur'an. So anyway, Huruf al-Muqatta'at, another opinion is that this is the name. So I was talking about Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi. That Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi, he was a great Imam. So even his opinion is that Huruf al-Muqatta'at, they are from the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when his opinion is that this is from the names of Allah ta'ala, then a mas'ala here will appear, and that mas'ala and that ruling is that because according to him it is in the name of Allah, you will not be able to name a person Yaseen or Alif Lam Mim or any of the names of the Huruf al-Muqatta'at, because we do not know their meaning. And when we do not know their meaning, as far as the names of Allah Ta'ala are concerned, there are two categories. Some of the names of Allah are such that they are exclusive for Allah Ta'ala. For example, Rahman. So you cannot name a person Rahman. Khaliq, the creator. This is exclusive for Allah. Nobody else can be a creator. So you cannot name somebody Khaliq. Ghaffar, the one who forgives people. Only Allah Ta'ala can forgive people's sins. So you cannot name someone Ghaffar. So if you want to name someone and use one of these attributes, you will have to add something before it, like Abd, Abdul Rahman, Abdul Ghaffar, Abdul Khaliq. That the servant of Rahman. And there are some attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they are not exclusive for Allah Ta'ala. They are Allah Ta'ala's names also, but you can also name a servant with that name. For example, Rahim. So Allah Ta'ala, when He speaks about Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He says, "Bil-mu'minina ra'ufur rahim." So look, Ra'uf and Rahim, they are Allah's names also, but Allah Ta'ala also says Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Ra'uf and Rahim. So you can name someone Ra'uf and Rahim without adding Abd to it. So this is a very important point to keep in mind. And when we call people by their name, if they have an attribute of Allah Ta'ala in their name, we should be aware that can you call this person by only the attribute, or do you have to add Abd before it? Otherwise, this will be a major sin. It falls under this ayah that وَالَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ سَيُجْزَوْنَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. That's another lengthy topic, so we won't go into it. But I've mentioned the ruling. So this was the second opinion. The third opinion is that Huruf al-Muqatta'at, they are the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is the more preferred opinion. Now when this is the more preferred opinion, then it will be permissible for you to name somebody Yaseen or somebody Taha. Last week it was mentioned that Hazrat Mufti Shafi Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi's father's name is also Muhammad Yaseen. There are many other people who are named Yaseen, Taha. So this is permissible. And the fourth opinion is that Yaseen, this is Abyssinian. And in Abyssinian, Yaseen means a insan, O human. And it refers to, O human refers to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So Yaseen means O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the proof for this is that after Yaseen, wal-Qur'an al-Hakim, Allah Ta'ala says, إِنَّكَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Indeed, you are from amongst the prophets. So Allah Ta'ala is talking to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So through Yaseen, he is addressing that O human, meaning O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Again, I will indicate towards just one point very briefly. That if this is a Abyssinian name, if this is an Abyssinian phrase, Yaseen, then Allah Ta'ala mentions in the Qur'an, بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ. This Qur'an has been revealed in the Arabic language. So if the Qur'an has been revealed in Arabic, why is there an Abyssinian word here? Isn't the whole Qur'an supposed to be in Arabic? Allah Ta'ala himself is saying that إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. We have revealed the Qur'an in Arabic. So one very simple answer for this is that if I was to deliver this dars right now, then this entire dars, if you were to ask anybody what language was the dars in, what will be your answer? English. But have I not spoken some Arabic in this dars also? Have I not spoken some Urdu in this dars also? So just because one or two words are in a different language, you do not say that the dars is in this language and this language and this language. No, you look at the majority. So the majority of the Quran is in Arabic. It's possible that there may be certain words here and there which are in other languages also. Again, it's another lengthy topic which inshallah we will discuss on another occasion. So this is the summary of this part of this lesson. Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahmatullahi alayhi, Bayan al-Qur'an, and Allama Shabir Ahmad Uthmani rahmatullahi alayhi in his Tafsir Uthmani have also both mentioned this and indicated towards this, that the unanimous verdict of the ulama is that Huruf al-Muqatta'at are those huruf that Allah Ta'ala himself only knows the tafsir and the meaning of them. And those ulama who have tried to explain some sort of meaning, then even they are of the opinion that it is only Allah who knows, but we are trying to just mention something which we have been able to understand. Now, another question which appears here is that did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam know the meaning of Huruf al-Muqatta'at? We know that Allah Ta'ala knows and none of the other human beings know. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Sahib Wahi, the one who had been granted this revelation and whose connection with Allah Ta'ala was the highest, was he aware of this? So both Hazrat Mufti Shafi Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi and Allama Shabir Ahmad Uthmani rahmatullahi alayhi mentioned that yes, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was aware of the meaning of Al-Huruf al-Muqatta'at. Allah Ta'ala did inform Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam of the meanings. And this leads us now to the question that what are the benefits of these Huruf al-Muqatta'at? When we do not know what they mean, why are they present in the Quran? What's the point of having Alif Lam Mim and Yaseen and Tasin in the Quran when we do not know the meaning of it? So the first benefit is that I have just mentioned that it was only Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he was aware of the meaning of Huruf al-Muqatta'at. Now when he was aware, the first benefit of Huruf al-Muqatta'at is that these were secrets between Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wherever you have two people who are very close, they will always have some sort of secrets between them. Husband and wife will have secrets which nobody else knows. Between parents and children, there will be certain secrets which nobody else will know about. Wherever there is some sort of relationship, there will be certain secrets which others will not be aware of. Whether those secrets then remain secrets or not, this is another story. They say in English that some of the fastest ways of communication are the likes of television and telecommunication and telegram. And then they say even faster than this is tell a woman. And more faster than this is also tell her not to tell anyone. So secrets between Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Huruf-e-Muqatta'at. This is the first benefit of Huruf-e-Muqatta'at. That in every relationship you have to have secrets. So between Allah and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what's the secrets? The Huruf-e-Muqatta'at. Number 2. A second benefit is, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala thought that Huruf-e-Muqatta'at, if I was to reveal them also, the servants are not going to understand them, there is no tafsir for them. Let me just keep Huruf-e-Muqatta'at in Al-Muqatta'at, that's between me and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they can read the rest of the Qur'an. But for each and every letter of the Qur'an which we recite, we are being rewarded for it. مَنْ قَرَأَ حَرْفًا مِنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ فَلَهُ حَسَنًا. He who reads one letter from the Qur'an, for him is one good deed. وَالْحَسَنَةُ بِعَشْرِ أَمْثَالِهَا. And the good deed is then multiplied by 10 times. So if Huruf-e-Muqatta'at were not revealed, and we didn't recite Alif Lam Mim, we would have been deprived of those rewards. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, La aqulu Alif Lam Mim harfun. I do not say Alif Lam Mim is a letter. Walakin Alifun harfun, wa Lamun harfun, wa Mimun harfun. Alif is one letter, Lam is another letter, Mim is another letter. So if someone recites Alif Lam Mim, he gains 30 rewards. And Mufassirin here are of two opinions. Some say Alif Lam, Muhaddithin, they are of two opinions. Some say Alif Lam Mim refers to the Alif Lam Mim which is at the beginning of Surah Fil. Alam tara kaifa. So in Alam, you have Alif Lam Mim also. So if you were to recite Alam, you get 30 rewards. 10 for Alif, 10 for Lam and 10 for Mim. But if you recite Alif Lam Mim at the beginning of Surah Baqarah, or the beginning of Surah Ali Imran, or the beginning of Surah Al-Ankabut, Alif Lam Mim, the Huruf-e-Muqatta'at, you do not get 30 rewards, you get 90 rewards. Why? Because the first letter is Alif. And when you say Alif, you are saying 3 letters, Alif, Lam and Fa. How do you spell Alif? Alif, Lam, Fa. And when you say Lam, how is Lam spelled? Lam, Alif, Mim. And when you say Mim, Mim is spelled Mim, Ya, Mim. So when you say Alif, Lam, Mim, you are not saying 3 letters, you are saying 9 letters. So by saying Alif, Lam, Mim, you get 90 rewards. So a second benefit of Huruf-e-Muqatta'at is that by reciting the Huruf-e-Muqatta'at, for every letter you will get either 10 rewards or 30 rewards. Third benefit. The third benefit is that Allah Ta'ala sends down the Huruf-e-Muqatta'at also with the rest of the Qur'an, so that He can test our Iman. How strong are we on our Iman? The ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. We understand this, so we will accept it. We will say that yes, this is something we can understand. But Alif Lam Mim, many people will say, I cannot understand what is this, so I am not going to believe in it. So only those who are strong in their faith and in their Iman, only they will accept that although I do not understand what Alif Lam Mim means, but because it is present in the Qur'an, then I will believe that this is also from Allah Ta'ala. So to test a person's Iman, that despite not understanding the meaning, are you willing to accept it or not? Allah Ta'ala sends down the Huruf-e-Muqatta'at. The fourth opinion. The fourth benefit of the Huruf al-Muqatta'at is that every letter and every word in the glorious Qur'an has its own spiritual benefits, its internal benefits. So if you recite the word dhalika, dhalika has its own benefits, which you are going to get when you say dhalika. When you say al-kitabu, you will get the benefits of al-kitabu. When you say la, you will get the benefits of la. So when you say alif lam mim, you will get the benefits of saying alif lam mim. If Allah Ta'ala did not send down alif lam mim, we would have been deprived of those spiritual benefits which are present in alif lam mim. An apple has its own benefits. And a pear has its own benefits. And a banana has its own benefits. So if a person only eats an apple every day, he will only get the benefits from the apple. He is depriving himself of the benefits of the banana. This is why when we study such ahadith that if you recite Surah Ikhlas 3 times, or if you recite Surah Ikhlas, it's like you've recited 1/3 of the Qur'an. Then that doesn't mean that a person just keeps reciting Surah Ikhlas. Because you may get the reward, but you are going to deprive yourself of all the spiritual benefits which are present in all the other words of the Qur'an. So another benefit of Huruf al-Muqatta'at is that when you will recite the Huruf al-Muqatta'at, you will gain those spiritual benefits which Allah Ta'ala has placed in these Huruf al-Muqatta'at, which will not be present in the other words of the Qur'an. And finally, number 5, the 5th benefit of Huruf al-Muqatta'at leads us to a very important topic which is known as I'jazul-Qur'an. I'jazul-Qur'an means that the Qur'an is mu'jiz. What is mu'jiz? We have heard of a word called mu'jiza. Mu'jiza means miracle. Why is a miracle called mu'jiza? The Arabic language is very interesting, that even a word, when you go into the depths of that word, you will find a reason why that word has been given those particular letters. It's not like English that is called miracle, but you can't go into it. There's nothing behind it. No, mu'jiza. What does mu'jiza mean? Mu'jiza means that thing which makes another person ajiz. He gives up, he is defeated. So when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would carry out a mu'jiza, or a prophet would carry out a mu'jiza, it would leave the opposite person dumbfounded. They would have no answer. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam splits the moon into 2. Now who is there that is going to challenge this? Is there anybody in the world who can do this? Nobody. So they've lost. They've been defeated. This is a mu'jiza. Quran is one of the greatest, if not the greatest mu'jiza of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And I'jazul Qur'an can be tackled from so many different ways. So many different ways. But keeping to today's lesson, that how is Huruf al-Muqatta'at I'jazul Qur'an? But before going on to that, let me just mention regarding I'jazul Qur'an, when the glorious Qur'an was revealed, the disbelievers in Makkatul Mukarramah, they began to say that this Qur'an, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has made up himself. He is saying it's from Allah, it's coming from the heavens, there is an angel coming down with the Qur'an. So they would say this is all nonsense. He has made this Qur'an himself, he has written it himself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down 3 verses. The first verse. The first verse Allah Ta'ala sends down is Qul, O Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you say, لَإِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ. If all the jinn and all the humans were to get together, and collectively they were to try and produce a book like the glorious Qur'an, they will not be able to do so. This was the first challenge. And this challenge was sent down at a time when Arabic literature was at its peak. From then until today, until the day of Qiyamah, Arabic literature will never be at that level. Those Arabs, their Arabic was of a phenomenal stage, of an amazing standard. On the spot, they would be able to compose poetry, line upon line upon line. No preparation from before. There is such poetry which has been composed that you can read it from right to left also, you can read it from left to right also, and it will make sense. Just imagine what sort of Arabic, what command of the Arabic language these people had. So at that time they are being told that if Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has written this book, then you are masters of the Arabic language. He has not even been taught. He's not even been to a primary school. He's not even been to a nursery. And he's an ummi. He himself would say that, La naktub. I cannot write. I cannot read. And you are masters of the Arabic language. So, not one of you or two of you, all of you can get together and produce a book which is like the glorious Qur'an. The verse was revealed. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam recited the verse in Makkah al-Mukarramah. It was before the Arabs. But the entire Arab world was silent. Allah Ta'ala gave them time. After some time, Allah Ta'ala reveals the second verse. Am yaquluna iftara? Are they still saying that you have made the Qur'an up? Qul fa'tu bi ashri suwarin misli. Tell them that you cannot produce an entire Qur'an, just produce 10. Just produce 10 surahs like the Qur'an. 10 surahs. But again, complete silence. Nobody was ready for this. Nobody was able to do anything. Finally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals the verse of Surah Al-Baqarah. وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَىٰ عَبْدِنَا. If you are still in doubt with regards to that which we have revealed upon our servant, we are telling you, we have revealed it. He has not made it up. But if you are still in doubt, then فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِثْلِهِ. Then bring to us just one surah like the Qur'an. One surah, the smallest surah, Surah Al-Kawthar, which has only 3 verses. إِنَّا أَعْطَيْنَاكَ الْكَوْثَرَ فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ إِنَّ شَانِئَكَ هُوَ الْأَبْتَرُ. Just produce and compose literature which is more eloquent, or its eloquence, its rhetoric, its literature language is of the standard of Surah Al-Kawthar. A layman will not be able to understand this challenge, because he will say, what's so difficult about this? But somebody who has studied literature, somebody who knows about Arabic grammar, somebody who knows about eloquence, they will be able to understand this challenge. If there is a book written by a professor, and thereafter you tell a 3-year-old or 4-year-old that you have to produce a book of this standard, will this child be able to do so? It will be impossible. So in the same way, as far as the Qur'an is concerned, those who understand the eloquence of the Qur'an, they will be able to tell you that it's not possible for a human being to compose even one surah, even a few verses, which are of that standard of the glorious Qur'an. So Allah Ta'ala said that bring one surah. And after telling them that bring one surah, Allah Ta'ala further says, وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. That you know those idols of yours that you worship, tell them to assist you in this cause also. You're worshipping them, they are your gods, so let them help you also. And then look at the Qur'an, how powerful the Qur'an is, that it further says, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا وَلَن تَفْعَلُوا. Allah Ta'ala says, then you will definitely not be able to do so. Who can say this? If a human being was to ever set a challenge, can he ever say that definitely nobody can do this? No, because it's possible somebody might do it. Only Allah Ta'ala is the one who can say this, because Allah Ta'ala has full knowledge that none of my servants will have the ability to do this. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, this was the last verse which He sends down. We are talking about Ijaz-ul-Qur'an, how the Qur'an has defeated the disbelievers. When this Surah Al-Kawthar was revealed, the smallest surah of the Qur'an, the culture and the custom amongst the Arabs in Makkah al-Mukarramah was that because they were very proficient in poetry, then they would have poetry competitions. And what they would do is, somebody would compose poetry, and this poetry would be hung on the gilaf of the Kaaba. And this would now become a challenge. That this is the standard which has been set. When somebody is able to compose poetry which is better than this, then this poem will be brought down from the Kaaba and the new one will be placed onto the Kaaba. So whatever was the highest level of poetry, whatever was the best poem, that would be on the Kaaba. And every few days somebody would write better poetry, and this poem would continue to change, which was hung on the Kaaba. When Surah Al-Kawthar was revealed, one Muslim, one believer, he wrote Surah Al-Kawthar on a piece of paper, and he went, took down the poetry which was there, and he hung it on the Kaaba. Now this became the standard. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed. 40 days passed, but nobody was able to beat Surah Al-Kawthar. After 40 days, one person in Makkah al-Mukarramah, he thought to himself that if we leave Surah Al-Kawthar on the Kaaba, these poetry competitions which we have been having, they are going to come to an end. And that was the passion for them. The youth today, the passion for them is football. Now say football was to stop for some reason, they'll become worried that how can we make football stop again? So he has this worry that how can we make the poetry competition start again? So under Surah Al-Kawthar at night when everyone was sleeping, he went and he wrote, Wallahi ma hadha qawlul bashar. By the qasam of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, this is not the writing of a human being. This is not the work of a human being. This is the kalam of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So it's not going to be possible for anyone to beat this. So Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at, Ijaz-ul-Qur'an. Now how are Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at Ijaz-ul-Qur'an? How are they from this Ijaz-ul-Qur'an? So they are from Ijaz-ul-Qur'an because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when He starts a surah with Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at, for example, Alif, Lam, Mim, Allah Ta'ala is reprimanding and shaking the Arabs in that time that you are saying that this Qur'an has been written and composed by Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So read Alif, Lam, Mim. These three letters, they are the very letters which you know. They are from your alphabet. It's not some foreign language. So this very Qur'an which has been used, the letters which have been used are those letters which belong to your alphabet. Yet you are still unable to compose a kalam which is of the same standard of this Qur'an. What does that tell you? That tells you that this is not written by a human being. This is the kalam of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And by starting with Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at, Allah Ta'ala is telling us that remind yourself that your knowledge is very, very little. that you start reciting the Qur'an and the very first verse of the Surah Al-Fatiha which you recite is Alif Lam Mim, and you have to admit that I don't know what this means. So never let shaitan deceive you into thinking that I am extremely knowledgeable. I know it all. This is a deception from shaitan. The moment you begin to think that you know it all, that's the day that you are now going down and you're going to fail. Always tell yourself that I know nothing or I know very little. Even I know very little, there's some sort of claim in that I at least know something. Well, what do we know? We know nothing. So when we know nothing, we are going to continue to study till we breathe our last. And finally, this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions with regards to these sort of verses, whether they are the Al-Muqatta'at or other verses in the Qur'an, in which a person is not supposed to go into the tafsir and the explanation, because Allah Ta'ala has kept this for Himself. For example, we have in the Qur'an Yadullah, Allah Ta'ala's hand. Now what is the meaning of Allah Ta'ala's hand? This is known as mutashabihat. There is no need to go into these things. So Allah Ta'ala mentions هُوَ الَّذِي أَنزَلَ عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابِ, that Allah Ta'ala is that being who has revealed upon you the Qur'an. مِنْهُ آيَاتٌ مُحْكَمَاتٌ مِنْهُ آيَاتٌ مُحْكَمَاتٌ. One category of the verses of the Qur'an are those verses which are muhkam. هُنَّ الْكِتَابِ. وَأُخَرُ مُتَشَابِهَاتٌ, and there are a second category of verses which are known as mutashabihat. So every verse of the Qur'an will either be a muhkam verse or a mutashabih verse. If it's a muhkam verse, you can understand its tafsir. And if it's a mutashabih verse, you cannot understand its tafsir. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ ابْتِغَاءَ الْفِتْنَةِ وَابْتِغَاءَ تَأْوِيلِهِ. Allah Ta'ala says that those people whose hearts are crooked, they fall behind these mutashabih verses. And they try to understand these mutashabih verses. They try to explain these mutashabih verses. Many of those who go to colleges and universities, then they fall into this trap. The Quran is also telling us that this is something we should not be going into. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. The Quran itself is announcing. It doesn't get more clear than this. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. Nobody knows its meaning and interpretation besides Allah. And what do the people of ilm do? وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. Those who are very, very profound in their ilm. يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ. What do they say? آمَنَّا بِهِ, we have believed in it. Because it's in the Quran, we believe in it, that it's a verse of the Quran. Alif Lam Mim is in the Quran, we believe in it. Yaseen is in the Quran, we believe it's a part of the Quran. يَقُولُونَ آمَنَّا بِهِ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ رَبِّنَا. All of this which we find inside the Quran, it is from our Rabb. آمَنَّا بِهِ كُلٌّ مِّنْ عِنْدِ رَبِّنَا. So this was some points with regards to Al-Huruf Al-Muqatta'at, because the very first verse of this surah is Yaseen, and Yaseen is from the Huruf Al-Muqatta'at. Finally, some ulama have mentioned that although we have not been informed of the meaning of Huruf Al-Muqatta'at in this world, we will be informed of the meaning of Huruf Al-Muqatta'at when we inshallah will enter paradise. So another incentive for us to participate in the Dars of the Qur'an and understand the tafsir of the Qur'an is that if we understand the message of the Qur'an in this world and practice upon it, this will become a means of us entering into Jannah. And once we enter Jannah, I am saying this in my words now, inshallah, Allah Ta'ala will say to us, you understood the rest of the Qur'an and you practiced upon that. Only the Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at was remaining. And you had this yearning in the world that I wish I can also understand these verses. So yes, Dars-e-Qur'an in the world is finished. But Dars-e-Qur'an in Jannah remains. And over there, who is going to do Dars of the Qur'an in Jannah? Allah Himself. And what will He explain? Huruf-ul-Muqatta'at. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the ability to continue to benefit from these lessons, and whatever lessons which we learn from the durus of the glorious Qur'an, may Allah Ta'ala grant us the ability to practice upon them also. May He also make us from those who can propagate these messages and pass these messages onto others also. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The best amongst you is the one who learns the Qur'an and teaches the Qur'an. So in whatever capacity we can, we should also try and spend some time of our life in learning Qur'an and teaching Qur'an. Abu Abdul Rahman al-Sulami, rahimahullah ta'ala, he spent 40 years sitting in one masjid teaching Qur'an. 40 years of his life. So somebody came to you and said that for 40 years you've been doing the same thing. So Abu Abdul Rahman al-Sulami says that I am the very one who narrates this hadith from Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that the best amongst you is the one who learns the Qur'an and teaches the Qur'an. So if I am not going to do this, who is going to do this? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all the ability to practice upon this. Inshallah, next week we will continue with the tafsir of Surah Yasīn. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy to understand the verses also, explain the verses also, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the glorious Qur'an part and parcel of our lives. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.